Gang, I'd like to welcome new sponsor, True Hemp Science, full spectrum CBD products to the show. Now, gang, I've been using these products for a couple of months now, namely their number 81 Relax and Sleep CBD oil. You can find them at truehempscience.com. Now, listen, gang, they create handcrafted quality, full spectrum CBD products by sourcing the highest grade hemp from around the world. All unique, all top quality. They offer a complete line of CBD products, including full-spectrum CBD oils, tinctures, CBD skincare lotions, CBD sports rubs, which I've been using, CBD gummies, which I tried, and they're absolutely fantastic, and the CBD gluten-free chocolates. By choosing True Hemp Science, you know it's going to be good, so you can stay focused. Now, gang, I was having some trouble sleeping, and I was having some pain in like the palm of my hands, both of my hands. It was weird, and it was getting weird when I was playing. And a couple of months ago, I was at a farmer's market, and I ran into this guy Simon, and his and he was out there with the True Hemp Science like booth. And I got together and started talking with him, and I got some balm for my hands to try and like ease the pain, and the pain actually went away. And I ended up getting the number 81 Relax and Sleep True Hemp Science CBD oil. It's a full spectrum CBD oil. It's absolutely fantastic. I've been sleeping like a baby. This last weekend, I went to Vegas to play a show, and we got in the night before. I was up really late, and I woke up really early, and I was having a hard time trying to get a nap in before this big show we were playing for this convention. And I had a couple of drops of this CBD oil, number 81, the Relax and Sleep thing, and it helped me sleep for 4 hours. And listen, gang, I've been waking up really, really rested, like feeling like I had slept, you know, like not waking up like, oh my God, what do I have to do? Or like waking up like, oh, I need to sleep more. It's like I wake up, I stretch, and I just feel like, wow, I really slept. Go to truehempscience.com and use the code HDIGH and get something special. Purchase $65 worth of regular price products and receive 296 milligrams of their number 81 distillate. Number 81 is great for rest, relaxation, and sleep. That's the one I'm talking about. That's the one that's been helping me sleep, helping me wake up rested, and feeling ready to take on the day. Focused and ready to go. That's True Hemp Science. Find them at truehempscience.com. Now listen, gang, for the next few weeks, I'll be telling you about some other products I've been using, even their CBG. They're number 41. Boy, that one really gives you focus and gets you ready to take on your day. But right now, I'm telling you, go to truehempscience.com/HDIGH. Use the code HDIGH, and with your $65 purchase, you'll receive 296 milligrams of the number 81, which is great for rest, relaxation, and sleep. Go to truehempscience.com. This stuff really works, you guys. Let's get down.
And you may ask yourself, well, how did I get here?
It's time for How Did I Get Here? And now here is your host,
All right, hello, I'm Johnny. I'm your host. Welcome to the show. I hope you guys all had a good weekend. I hope you're safe. I hope you're healthy. I hope you're keeping it together, man. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. There's so many people getting coronavirus. Skyrocket played on Friday at Antone's, legendary venue. Love playing it. I've been playing the Antone's for a long time. I can't even remember how long. More than 25 years, almost 30 years. Love Antone's. But you know, in reality, it was only a third full. And normally Skyrocket sells out a room like that pretty, you know, at least a couple weeks before the show. So that was a little bit, a little jarring, you know, and, I don't know how things are going to go. We don't know how things are going to go. We don't have a lot of shows on the books for the next couple of months, basically because of this coronavirus. Stuff's coming back in April, but the next couple of months are a little barren. That gets freaky, doesn't it? You know what I'm talking about? Crazy times, man. Then I got up on Saturday and it was super windy. I woke up feeling great. Me and Rosie headed over to the dog park. It was super windy. And got back from the dog park feeling like shit, man. My allergies were just through the roof. Ended up taking a bunch of naps, sleeping a lot of the day. Felt great until I'd go back outside. Then I'd shower and do all that whole thing, wipe down Rosie so she's not covered in fucking cedar pollen. It was crazy. And Sunday, what did we do? We just went out to the dog park, went for a walk, tried to go to the farmer's market. But then I started realizing, like, man, we are in stage 5. And like when I pulled up to the farmer's market, there were so many people there. I was like a little freaked out. A lot of no masking going on. And I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe I'll take it. You know what I mean? I don't know how to act during this shit. First of all, I was super careful all of 2020. You listen to the show, into 2021. Then got vaccinated, started feeling confident going out. Then the resurgence of Delta, I still kept going out and stuff. But I got coronavirus in August. Still kept going out and doing shows and stuff. And then I got boosted. And now I'm trying to play it cool again because we're in stage 5, which is insane. Anyway, still got to make a living though. So we go out and play on Friday, but then only a third of the people show up. I mean, it's like, it's maddening. That's what it is. It's maddening because nobody knows exactly what to do. Nobody knows exactly how to act anymore. And at this point, we're like, fuck, I'm over it, dude. So let me go do something. Let me go work, bro. That's what I'm saying. Frustrating times, right? Frustrating times. Gang, I have a great show for you guys today. Singer, songwriter, drummer, bass player, all around great musician, and also podcaster. He's a co-host of the Rock Detention podcast. Robin Mordecai is my guest on the show today. If you're a musician here in Austin, you might have shared the stage with him at some point. Great songwriter. He's got an EP coming out on March 15th called Portraits. He just dropped his third single, I think, Alive on Saturday. So that's available wherever it is you stream and download your jams. Also his singles Caroline and I Don't Blame You are all available now wherever it is you stream and download your jams. Go to robinmordecai.com for all of your Robin Mordecai needs. Now, I met Robin Mordecai last year, 2021. We got set up to write together. There was a song, actually his single Caroline. I don't know if we cover it because I'll tell you the whole story in just a second. Anyway, we got set up to write that song, and we worked on it, me and him and this guy, Jeff Plankenhorn, over Zoom. And then me and him got together and wrote another song that ended up, I think, being really good, that we're going to try and record at some point. But his album Portraits was produced by David Messier over at Same Sky Productions and engineered and mixed by the great Andre Cantave. And he actually played all the instruments, pretty much all the instruments on the album, except for a little bit of hand percussion and some stuff here and there that he had the other guys do. But he played guitar, bass, drums, keyboards. And we have a great conversation about his writing process. Now, this was our second conversation because Robin Mordecai was my first podcast back after taking 6 weeks off from actually doing the interviews, right? Every year I take about a month off in December. I'm just like, all right, I stockpile a bunch of them so I can keep on putting new ones out. So I'd taken 6 weeks off and I had Robin on the show for the first time. And he came over. We did the podcast. We're in like what feels like the last 5 minutes of the podcast. We start wrapping it up and the power goes out in my place and the podcast gets deleted. So our whole thing was gone. So you can't just do it right after. Plus I had Kelly Mickwee coming over, which by the way, you'll hear on Friday. I just said, come over tomorrow. And so he came over, the next day. And we tried to do it by the pool outside. It was a nice day. We sat down outside. We started doing it by the pool. And then the yard guys start doing their blowing thing. I mean, it was like everything was against us on this podcast. So there's about 15 minutes where we're outside talking by the pool. And then the rest of it, we come back into my apartment and have the rest of the conversation there. But anyway, Robin Mordecai, great songwriter, great singer, great hang, man. I really, really like this guy. I enjoy talking to him. He's going to go play a show with this dude opening for Great White in Florida next week. Oh, and listen, before I get too far, I just talked to him a little while ago, and we talk about a gig that he was supposed to play tonight, Tuesday, January 18th at Saxon Pub. That gig has been canceled because his allergies are so bad that his throat is closing up. So he's on some steroids. He's getting better, but he's not well enough to sing tonight. So his Tuesday, January 18th show at Saxon Pub is canceled. But we still had a great conversation talking about his creative process, how writing and recording at the same time. He's been helping the guys at the Congress House move to Cedar Creek. We talk about that. We talk about him coming up in Austin. Both of his parents are embedded in the music scene here. They're both musicians. And he was brought up in the scene, playing music, going to the Elephant Room. Great conversations about all that stuff. Robin Mordecai, great artist. Go to robinmordecai.com. His EP Portraits drops March 15th. Produced by the great David Messier and engineered and mixed by the great Andre Cantave over at Same Sky Productions. His single Alive out now wherever it is you stream and download your jams. So without further ado, please enjoy my conversation. First 15 minutes outside, the rest of it inside my apartment. This is me and Robin Mordecai chatting it up. Let's get down. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good, man.
Good.
So, we're got to let the people know.
Round 2.
We had a great podcast yesterday.
It was awesome.
Great. And we're rounding the end of it, right? Last couple minutes of it. As I open a Guayaki organic yerba mate enlightened mint flavor.
Hey, it's good stuff.
Rounding the last couple of minutes, end of the podcast, and power goes out. Lose the podcast. I have one coming up afterwards, so it's like, hey, come back tomorrow, and you did.
I did.
And today, we've come out into the natural environment of the outside.
It is. It's beautiful.
We're out by the pool at my
day.
apartments. Where did we start off yesterday? What do you got? You got a gig in Florida. Okay, here's what happened since yesterday. This is why today's podcast is going to be better, because I am loaded with facts, man.
Oh no.
Yeah. What are you doing? What are you doing in Florida? Tell us.
I'm playing a gig with a gentleman named Aaron Ellis, and it's kind of a convoluted way that it all came about, because I'm playing keys and singing background vocals, which is not something that I normally do.
Right.
But basically, because of my podcast, we had a few guests on who are also
Your
in the
podcast
band.
is Rock Detention.
Yes.
We'll talk more about it. Where people can find it on Instagram, on Facebook,
you can find us everywhere.
YouTube.
Just look up Rock Detention Podcast, and we're the first thing that comes up.
Okay. I've been on there. It's a great show. You guys are awesome.
Go listen to his episode.
Okay.
But yeah, so because of a couple of guests on our podcast, myself and my co-host Zach were asked to come play in this band, and so we're flying to Florida next Wednesday. And
you're playing. You're not normally the keyboard player of anything.
No. I played keys on my record just out of necessity, really.
Right.
So,
But that's in a controlled environment. It's not live in front of people.
No.
Where you can fuck up some guy's stuff.
Right. It's like
right.
You get one take.
So let's talk a little bit about who the band is. Like, okay, so the band you're opening for. You're flying out.
Oh, yeah. So we're opening for a band called Great White.
Boom. Yesterday we had no I'm like, what even fucking song did those people sing? We didn't even know. We went on to another thing. You know who they are?
Yeah.
My, once bitten, twice shy, babe. Also, they're the band that the people died in the fire at their gig in like 20 years ago or something.
Yeah, there was like...
Remember that?
Yeah, it was like... Was it 2001?
It was like that.
Yeah.
I remember my grandma Gowdy was still alive, and she was like, I don't, do you play at places like that? I'm like, yeah, I play places exactly like that. And she's like, do you have things explode on stage? I'm like, no, dude.
Well, yeah, that was a failed pyrotechnics.
Yeah, I can't even afford a firecracker. Crazy old lady.
But yeah.
So anyway, that's you're opening for those guys.
Yeah,
Boy,
so
you got to get that guy on your podcast.
Yeah,
Talk
we're
about
gonna
a rich story.
We've got a... Well, and I think they even told us, don't bring it up. I think he's still pretty... he doesn't really want to talk about it. I mean, that, of course, and I'd understand that, but yeah, we definitely want him on our podcast. We'll just have to be very careful if we ask him that question, kind of, because we have a thing on our podcast of like, before we start, we always ask our guest, like, hey, is there anything you don't want us to bring up? And that may be that issue, but we'll see. We'll ask him.
That'd be a bummer, though. Yeah. As a journalist.
Oh, of course.
We're
As
not
someone
journalists.
who's like wanting to get all the details of stuff. Yeah.
We are not journalists, dude.
No.
Okay. You have an EP. Oh, wait. Let's go back because there's another thing that I thought was funny from yesterday. We were texting back and forth on Instagram chat instead of like just normal texting.
Oh, yeah.
Because I saw you playing this the Bon Jovi Runaway thing.
Yeah, because one of the songs that we're playing in Florida is Bon Jovi's Runaway.
Okay, but it's not a cover gig. This
No,
is
it's
guy's
not-
originals, but you're throwing in Runaway.
Yeah, we're throwing in like a few cover tunes, but mostly his originals. So
Okay, so you were playing it. I've played it in Skyrocket. As a keyboard player, anyone out there would be like, yeah, it's real hard. What's hard is it's real fast, and you have to be steady as shit.
yeah,
like
it's,
that,
the whole song
did
is
you
just
say it
bop,
was
bop,
Ray
bop, bop,
Bitton?
bop. Yeah, Roy Bitton,
Roy Bitton, and
who's Springsteen's
Right.
one of Springsteen's piano players.
not David Bryan, who played
No.
on every single other thing except that.
Yeah, that one song was they were in. If I remember correctly, they were in New York. Or John was in New York because Richie didn't even play on that. It's all hired guns for that one song, and but yeah, it's Roy Bitton played the keys, but I don't even think he wrote the lick. It was Mark something wrote the ba 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 ba, but Roy
You
is the
really
one who
did
plays
some
it.
work on that, didn't you?
Well, I got curious because it took me forever to get the sound. I wanted to find that sound that sounded just like Runaway. So I was scouring the internet for any inkling of like, did anybody do this research? And no one ever did. I couldn't.
Did you learn it by ear? Or did you look it up on a
No,
YouTube
I read those.
guide?
I got the sheet music.
Oh, you sheet music
Yeah,
stuff?
I got
you
the
can
sheet
read music?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's something I didn't even know from yesterday's podcast.
Oh, there you go.
You know what I wish I had as a sound thing on there? I'm going to put it on there. Is whenever we get into nerd shit, on any podcast, I'm going to have a, did I do that? Like, come out on there. It's like, this is like, we're just nerds.
I love nerding out
So
on that
I
stuff.
spent 3 weeks researching the keyboard part of Runaway by Bon Jovi.
Oh, yeah.
And I found out. Okay, so that led me to, and leads me to, the Jovi Informs. You have a brand new EP coming out.
Yes.
On March 15th. It's called Portraits.
Yes.
It's fantastic. You got some singles out. I Don't Blame You is out now, and
Caroline's out.
Caroline's out, and one comes out. Alive comes out. Will be out by the time this is out.
Yes.
Okay. Fantastic job.
Thank you.
It's very. We talked about this yesterday. It has a whatever in that era of the 80s before super big rock drum stuff. You know what I'm talking about? Like
Yeah.
that Rick Springfield, the I've Done Everything for You kind
Yes.
of vibe happening. Like that has informed your jams.
Yes. Oh, Springfield, Springsteen, Bryan Adams, and then Bon Jovi. Like all that stuff is a huge influence
What's
on
your
me.
favorite Bryan Adams song? Ooh, it's a good one, isn't it?
That's a tricky one. Run to You is a great one.
Oh, really? You like that
Yeah, I
one?
love that guitar intro. Yeah. I stole that rhythm for a band that I was playing in years ago. I stole that rhythm guitar pattern that he played. We used different chords, but it was that pattern.
Right.
Because I loved the way that felt.
Yeah.
Run to You. He's got
Cuts Like a Knife is my jam.
Cuts Like a Knife is great. He's got an album called Waking Up the Neighbors. And
What's on that? I remember that album. And he's got like a megaphone. He's yelling to people.
that's the one with the I can hear the beginning.
The Tina Turner song?
That
good.
one's. I don't think that was on that one. I think that's on an album. Is that on Reckless?
I don't know.
No, that's not on Reckless, but that's a great one.
This podcast is brought
But
to you by Bryan
he's got
Adams.
a song. He's got a song called "Don't Drop That Bomb on Me" or something. I think that's it. It's towards the end of Waking the Neighbors, and it's basically Bryan Adams doing Def Leppard. And I don't know
that's
why I just
cool.
really love that song.
Yeah.
But then his later 90s stuff is really good too.
I never heard that.
Yeah, he's got some albums that came out, I think it's like between like 97 and 2000.
All right, but that's not the
Fantastic.
stuff that informed your stuff.
All of his, well, I'm a huge Bryan Adams fan, so he's in everything he's done influences me. So yeah, but mostly it's that 80s stuff. It's his 80s,
Right.
it's Reckless, it's Cuts Like a Knife, it's all that stuff.
Right.
But yeah, I just like his songwriting. I just like his songwriting, so.
That was his thing. Him and Jim Valance. Oh, that's weird.
What's for you?
God, it's just like this. You know, like it's a. This podcast has it out for us, man.
It does, but you know.
Are you a Roxy Music fan?
So I know of them.
Okay.
I haven't really gotten
It's a
in.
Roxy Music song.
Okay.
All right, so these songs are the EP is called Portraits.
Yes.
And so each song is like a portrait of a certain character.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. I had just picked the songs. I didn't really even think about it. And about halfway through the recording process, it dawned on me that each song is a story about a character. It's not like from my perspective or anything.
And now, is that different for you?
No, I just
Do
usually
you always
there's-
write like that? Like in
not
that sort of-
always. I try to challenge myself to write in a bunch of different ways. But
Tommy used to work on the docks.
yeah,
Yeah.
But that that kind of stuff where you're telling a story as opposed to like I love you, you love like that kind of lovey-dovey song.
Yeah, yeah.
I like to take it. I like to take the story and go a little deeper and try to really. If I'm gonna describe a character, I want to describe a character. Not
Yeah.
just be like she was cute in the bar.
Right.
Which is so many modern songs today. I'm just like,
That's what I told you was going to happen.
sound effects.
Okay. Look, if you guys can deal with it, we're outside. These guys are starting to do the yard because they're stupid. The record was produced by David Messier and of course, engineered and mixed by the great Andre Cantave.
Yes.
Over there at Same Sky Productions.
Yes.
Now, this is the second record that you've done with them.
No, this was the first one. This is
Okay.
actually the first record that I've ever done with a producer. The last EP that I did was pretty much all me. I even engineered
Where were
parts of
you?
it.
Were you at your house?
No. So I did it at Figment Studios, which is no longer around. I did it at Antimatter Studios, which is Dave Seabury's place over at Austin School of Music,
Yeah.
which won't be here for much longer because they're moving.
Where are they moving?
I don't know where they're moving yet, but I know they're moving because Straight Music is moving. That whole building's going
What?
down. Yeah,
Is it-
that whole shopping center is being torn down.
You know what I hope happens? They build condos because they're
They
really
are.
like what I'm noticing in Austin is that there's a real shortage. Like there's not a lot of condos anywhere.
No, that
Mixed use buildings.
Yeah.
They can't even put fucking Straight Music on the first floor.
no. The Straight Music I think has found a new place somewhere.
did?
Yeah, but anyways, and then I did
Okay, so
one other place that I did that, but
okay,
it was
so-
all me.
Okay.
Apart from a few, like my friend Rick and Russell.
Right.
They engineered. Russell actually mixed that album, and then Nick Landis has mastered both my EPs.
Okay.
So
Let's go back to this though. On Portraits, although you didn't produce anything, you played everything. You played
Yes.
everything.
yes, I played everything except like a hand drum and any gang vocals that you hear.
Okay.
That's me and other people
But
because we
you-
wanted the real thing. But
Right.
yeah, I played 99% of everything.
Now you go out and you're a hired bass player, you're a
Yes.
hired drummer,
Yes.
and now you're a hired keyboard player.
Yeah, for once.
Yeah, for once. But who knows?
Yeah,
like, this
it
could
could
lead to
open
a whole
up-
like, what if Great White likes you? And they're like, hey, how do we get our hands on that Robin Mordecai? Get some of that.
well,
that guy
let's-
tickles the ivories like nobody's business.
Oh,
There's
boy.
piano on that Once Bitten, Twice Shy.
Yeah, there is.
Maybe they'll get you to come up and play. You should learn it.
We'll see. I think they have a keyboard
What is
keys
wrong
player.
with me?
I think they have a keys player.
They do?
Or if they don't, they just play in the backing tracks. A lot of those guys do, which is surprising to me.
Yeah.
So
So look, I mean, people should go and at least check this out because
I'm very proud of this EP. Like
people do this.
Yeah.
Like people do. I've done it where I've played all this stuff on
Yeah.
on a record, and it doesn't mean that I can go be someone's drummer live like you can. you know,
Okay, yeah.
or someone's keyboard player.
I believe you can. You can do it.
Thank you. But you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
So, can you walk me through how you record this stuff?
So,
Like, how do you start it off? Do you do a click track with a scratch vocal and guitar?
no. So I demo everything in my room, and so I come in with a full thing, and then what we do is I'll take the drums out, and then I'll record to a click with the rest of the demo recording.
Oh.
Yeah. So what I
But
usually
do you feel like that doesn't leave the producer a lot of room to change anything if he wants to, like a tempo or a...
we sat down with this. What we did was we sat down with the demos, and we went over like arrangement, like, okay, we can do this, so let's do this, add this in here, and if we need to take it out, we can, kind of a thing. So we set it up before I started like actually recording
Okay.
truly recording.
Okay, so when you record a demo, then walk me, because here's the way I do it.
Okay.
When I'm doing everything on my own, I will do a scratch guitar and vocal along with a click of what I think, or a drum machine, but
Yeah.
not a click, a drum machine,
Yeah.
groove, like a groove.
Sadly, I
can play to.
use a drum machine in my demos.
Yeah, no, it's
which
cool.
I hate.
Oh, I love it.
Well, because as a drummer, I want to like play the drums, but
Right. So
So-
you can lock in.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And everything's
then
in
everything's
time.
on click, and I don't actually have to hear that stupid click.
In
click,
my
click.
case, at least some things in time.
True.
I mean, some of my recordings you can go listen to them. You get, but it whatever. So I lay that down along with the vocal and guitar on one mic, usually like acoustic or something, and then I go back and start doing stuff. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I'll lay a bass next. Okay, now I'll lay real drums next, and then I'll lay a guitar, and then I'll lay a thing, and then I'll sing and backing vocals,
Right.
percussion.
So you actually have the whole. So like by the time you're laying everything else down, you've got the whole song already kind of written.
Yeah.
So I write in a very ADD manner. Like I'll start with a lick, and then I'll write the first verse, and then my brain's like, "Ooh, this lead guitar is gonna sound really cool over this verse." So I'll go record a lead guitar, and like, okay, the bass should do this. I haven't even written the
That's
chorus
a
yet.
Yeah, no. Trust me. I have lost many a song. I have fully recorded jams with
Yeah.
nothing that I put on top, because by the time I got to singing, I was having so much fun with the weird keyboard thing I came up with
Yeah.
that I forgot to write lyrics and a melody.
So Alive, the song it'll be out by the time this podcast comes out,
Yeah.
but it comes out on the 15th of this month. It's that song was written. I literally wrote the beginning little lick that you hear, and then the band comes in, and then I came up with a little guitar lick during the verse, and then I wrote the bass over that, and then I wrote the verse, like lyrics. And then I went back and I was like, okay, now I need a chorus. Okay, so this is what the chorus is going to do. So then I wrote the guitar, and then the bass, and then the lyrics for the chorus. And it just came together just like that. Like, so the whole song is this very like ADD process. I didn't just start with like an acoustic guitar and like write it.
Right.
So
So you know where I first saw someone do that, like write and record with all that stuff and a multi-track thing, is Hallman in the cutting room of the Congress House.
oh wow.
Yeah, in like summer of 1984, when he was writing all the Cry Wolf. Why are we laughing when we say that?
I
It's
don't
just
know.
because of the name. But it was fucking cool. I mean, it's the
Yeah.
coolest thing I ever seen. Like, I saw that guy. That guy first I didn't see him do it. First he's like, okay, I'm going to go to the thing and I'll be back this afternoon. Okay. Comes back that afternoon with a song. It's got, drum machine and stuff and fucking bass singing. Cool song, guitar shit. Like, the whole thing's, it's realized in a demo way. But like fully orchestrated
Right.
and produced. So cool. Like, I was totally immediately, I figured, well, that's how most people do it. And I got, as soon as I got a multi-track thing, which was a 4-track in the 80s, I know. Will you do me a favor and just read the text I sent you describing what this sounded like?
Okay.
Just so that the listeners know that I could tell. I'm sorry, you guys.
Never mind, we'll have to do it inside because the blower army sounds like a gang of giant angry mosquitoes. It's true.
So if you're hearing this right now, that background sound is giant angry mosquito people. Anyway, all right, so it's like multiple ones too,
Yeah.
isn't it? So anyway, so
And they're getting closer. I think they're coming for me.
when you started out, there was already GarageBand, Pro Tools, and stuff like that. Was that?
Yes.
What do you do those demos on?
Logic.
Okay.
So, I started out with GarageBand, and then we went to, Apple made Logic so affordable
Right.
that it's,
Hey, we should run inside.
We should?
This is ridiculous. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, hey, gang, we're going to pause, and now you're going to hear us inside.
All right.
So we were talking about, we're back inside the
We're back
apartment.
inside. They are now off in the distance.
Well, they're off in the distance, but they decided to come over to my apartment building, and we've been kind of waiting it out, but we got to do this. All
There you
right,
go.
so we were talking about recording, home recording, writing at the same time. So you said you started out on Logic?
I started out on GarageBand.
On GarageBand.
My dad refused, when I was a kid, my dad refused to get me Logic because I wanted it because I very quickly outgrew GarageBand. I mean, in a matter of like a month and a half, because the GarageBand's very limited in what it can do. And so,
How old were you when you discovered that? And were you creating at the same time?
yeah, I think I was
Like you were writing and recording at the same time, like the Hallman method.
yeah, kind of. I was still discovering how I wrote at that point. So I was doing different things and guys, I think I was only like 13, 14.
Okay. So
So-
yeah, you were young.
But, once I was able to kind of show him like, no, hey, look, I can, I've outgrew this. I need more stuff. I need more space. I need this. And, the beautiful thing about Logic is it's just cheap. I mean,
Yeah.
I think at the time it was $200 for the whole thing. And now I think it's only $100. So, cause we had to buy the physical, like disc.
CD, yeah,
the physical disc to
yeah.
like stick in the computer and load it in. And so, once I got into that, and then they upgraded to Logic 10, and that's what I've been using. So
Ever since.
yeah, ever since. I can use Pro Tools, but
Don't get me wrong.
I Pro Tools is great to record in.
Yeah.
Like when you're in a studio.
Yeah.
But to write, I just love Logic. It's just easy, and they've got so many sounds that you can just go through. You can just plug in a MIDI keyboard and just.
Right. So basically, when you went in to record portraits, you brought in these fully realized demos. You dumped the tracks into their thing and started subtracting and adding, replacing.
Yeah.
You were playing drums in the place, and
Right. All except the last song, the Through the Storm. That was written. We pieced that together in the studio because that was when they heard that. Basically, all I had was just a guitar thing, and they both, for some reason, were just like, "We like this. This is
Yeah.
cool."
Now that song,
expound on this.
Right. That song is the song that takes the departure from the eighth
Yes.
note downstrokes
Yeah.
to this sort of like Gabriel-esque,
Yeah, it's like-
Gabriel-esque vibe and feel.
Yeah. And that was exactly what we were going for. And I think the only thing that I would ever add to that is a string section.
Oh, okay.
And, because budget, I couldn't put strings on there.
Were you influenced by Peter Gabriel at all?
So,
Funny, because that was the name of his most successful record.
Let's start at the genesis of it all.
Okay.
Genesis was a Phil Collins and Peter Gabriel, and their band Genesis was. I had a teacher that basically when I was in middle school, my drum teacher and I were having a conversation, and he was like, who do you listen to? And I was like, Mike Portnoy. And he goes, oh, okay. Well, do you listen to Rush? And I was like, yeah, I just started listening to them. Neil Peart's cool, but I really like Mike Portnoy.
That's the Dream Theater
Yeah, it's
drummer
Dream
for those
Theater.
of you who are listening.
Yeah, and so once I got a little bit into Rush, he was like, okay, if you like Rush, this is Yes. And then he showed me, Mom had shown me like Owner of a Lonely Heart, but he was the one who showed me like Roundabout and, early Yes, which got to Genesis after that. He was like, okay, if you like this British band, you're going to like this British band. And,
Right.
And so
It's the British Prague.
once I discovered Genesis, that kind of opened a whole new world for me. I was like, okay.
So you're talking about early Genesis when Peter Gabriel was singing and Phil
Yeah,
Collins was just
so
playing
like from
drums.
Genesis to Revelations,
Sure.
that kind of
Nursery
stuff.
Crime, you rock that? I got that on vinyl.
I may have that one on vinyl.
It's good.
But it was really, with Genesis, it was really the Phil Collins era that was like, because I think, was it Tarzan came out when I was in middle school, which is the Disney movie that Phil Collins did all the music for.
Yeah, I don't even know.
It's just a great soundtrack. Cheesy movie, great soundtrack. And so that was around that time. So I was like, oh, discovering, Phil Collins in like his early years with Genesis and all of this. And then I didn't get into Peter Gabriel's earlier stuff, except for Salisbury Hill. I really liked that song.
Yeah, good song.
Which is in 7, and I never realized that.
Oh, yeah.
And so, Peter Gabriel I was very late to the Peter Gabriel party. It was years later that someone was like, dude, you really need to listen to So, and like, you really need to listen to this album. I'm like, all right. And so when I was in like the last year of college,
And you were playing drums then?
oh yeah,
Yeah. So,
Well,
so did
that was when
Manu? It's
that-
Manu on that record, right? Manu Katché?
It's a bunch of drummers, I think. I mean, I don't think it's just Manu. I think it's
But it's Manu on like Your Eyes and
Oh,
shit
yeah.
that feels like your tune.
yes,
Yeah.
So that because that was the thing we wanted to mix. I'm a big yacht rock fan too, so we wanted to take "Sailing" by Christopher Cross.
Oh yeah, it does have a little bit of a
In Your
vibe like
Eyes,
that. Yeah,
and
yeah.
kind of like
yeah.
smash them
Yeah,
together.
Yeah.
And so
Well, it's not far down to paradise.
So that guitar, that acoustic guitar that comes
Yeah.
in, that
yeah,
thing,
yeah.
that's total just nod to.
Yeah. Do you know any of
Cross.
those guys?
Yeah.
There's like Andy Salmon, Christopher Cross, or Tommy Taylor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've met seven. Yeah, I've met a ton of them, and but yeah, so that's where that song came from. Was like to go from all of this. It's like it started there, and yeah, I was really late to the Peter Gabriel party.
Yeah.
Just like I was with Fountains of Wayne. Like I was really late to Fountains of Wayne. Like
Right. That's what some of that other stuff does remind me of that Fountains of Wayne stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, why didn't I get into these people then?
I had Nick Collins, Phil's son, on the show.
Oh, wow.
The guy that plays with Genesis now.
Yeah. Oh man,
That's fucking great.
Yeah. Oh.
He added some band, some like alt rock band from Miami. Mm-hmm. Anyway, yeah,
He's a great drummer.
great drummer. So yeah, people need to get out there and check it out. Alive is available now, but also Caroline and I Don't Blame You, great single. Who did the artwork for that I Don't Blame You thing? 'Cause that really is great. I was looking at it again today.
So Jonathan Morrell,
Who's that?
he is a artist literally right across the river from us right now. He's just like 2 doors down from me, and he's an Austin artist. I think. Yeah, I'm trying to remember where he curates a lot of things too. He's not just an artist, so he does a lot of other stuff just in the art world.
Okay.
And so, but
what attracted you to that artwork?
so the initial concept, when I realized that I had written this album or this EP and all 5 songs were kind of these stories about these different characters, I had this brilliant idea. I'm proud of myself for this idea. That's why I call it brilliant. So to go and find different artists, to find 5 different artists and say, hey, here's this song. I want you to draw what you think this character looks like.
Oh, that's cool.
And so months went by, and I reached out to all these different artists across the world, and I got no response. Nothing. Not even like I'm not interested. Like nothing. And so my roommate finally was like, oh, hey, man, I have a friend that may be interested in doing this. Do you guys do you want me to make that connection? We can all go grab coffee and stuff. And I said, yeah, absolutely. And so I had originally wanted 5 different artists, but it got down to the wire on the thing, and I was like,
Right.
okay, I just need to find an artist who would be interested in doing this. And met with Jonathan, and he was a super, super nice guy. And all of the artwork that he's done all 3 of the.
Oh, great.
Yeah. And I just love it. Like when he sent me Caroline, I was like, oh my God, this is exactly like
that
what
looks
I
good.
think
Yeah,
Caroline
yeah.
looks like. And then I loved that the girl on front of I Don't Blame You. That is not how I envisioned that girl at all.
No.
And so when he sent it, I was just like flipping. I was like, this is great. I love this. And the only one that had any specifications was Alive. And because the song talks about I think there's a like the first like couple of lines. I'm describing this guy who's just had the shit kicked out of him.
Yeah.
And so that was the only thing I said. I was like, he just needs to look like he's been beat up, kind of a thing. And that's the only specifications. And I just got the artwork back I think yesterday from him, and it was awesome. It's perfect.
Rad.
So
Alive will be available on all streaming platforms.
All streaming platforms. You can buy it on iTunes. You can buy it directly from me. I'll have download cards of the show.
Yeah. So you were talking about your parents a little bit earlier, and so full disclosure, we talked about you're not born in Austin, but you came here when you were 5 months old or whatever. But you came up in the what I would call the system. Your dad, stepdad,
he's dad.
Dad.
Yeah, when they got married, he actually signed adoption papers, so it's not just stepdad to me.
All right. So sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
Your dad is Mike Mordecai,
yes,
who's a jazz trombonist and also a booking guy for many years, a lot of events.
50 years.
Here
in Austin.
Yeah. And La Zona Rosa.
Yeah.
And his name has been on stuff I've done, and I know I've been around him. And your mom is Laura Mordecai, great percussionist.
Yes. Brilliant percussionist.
Who all has she played with around? Was she ever in like Beto y Los Fairlands?
Yeah,
or
she's
anything?
just the conga player now. Ever since Turo passed away, she's been the conga player for Beto and the Fairlanes. But she's played with Stephanie Urbina Jones, the Texarkana Mamas. She plays with me. She plays with Javier Chaparro, and Mitch Watkins.
Yeah.
A lot of local local groups. And then
so you came
Stephanie's out of Nashville. So
you came up going places, going to shows, going to the Elephant Room.
Yeah, going to places long before I was legally supposed to be there.
Right.
I remember the Elephant Room before it was non-smoking.
Oh yeah, Jesus! Can you imagine?
I just sit in the front of the stage, like by the stage, because I'm not supposed to be there, and I can't see the front door because it's just so filled with smoke.
What a great era that was.
Yeah, I mean it was awesome, but also I'm kind of glad it's clean now.
Yeah. But you were sitting in. When did you start like sitting in? And your first instrument was drums, right? No.
Technically, my first instrument was piano. Ironically.
Right. Oh, you come full circle.
But yeah, I had the very stereotypical response to it. I don't want to play piano. Blah blah blah. Cried about it. I wanted to play drums, though, which is why my parents made me take piano, because they were like, well, if you're going to play in percussion, you've got to be able to play the mallet instruments,
right.
So you need to know this. And I was like, okay. So did that, and then drums, and that was like, that was my love for about 10 years, was just playing drums. And then, yeah, once I got to about, 15, 16, I started sitting in at the Jazz Jam, and that was when John Blundell took the sticks out of my hand and was like, you need to go home and practice.
For those of you listening that don't know the name, John Blundell is a legendary musician here in Austin, trombonist as well. But also a guy that doesn't suffer fools.
No.
He's just, it's some people would say cranky. I think it's just like, hey, that guy's real. He's not fucking around. He doesn't have time.
Yeah.
Go home and practice your fucking drums before you come up here and waste my time.
Yeah.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that, right? I mean, it's intense, right?
Yeah. I always look at that's what the Jazz Jam's for, is to come up and like fall on your face kind of a thing.
Right.
And so,
what did you learn from that experience? I mean, obviously you haven't forget it. How old are you?
Oh, it was 4 years before I went back, before I had the courage to go back. Yeah. Oh, there's
I'm scared to death of that guy. I try to relate to him on anything that's not music because I don't want him to fucking beat me down.
Talk to him about watches. He
great
loves
idea.
watches.
Yeah.
So Red Young was the other one to scare me off the Elephant Room stage.
What did he say?
He did. So I'm up there during the Jazz Jam, and he's the house piano player. This is years later. I think I'm like 21, 22. And we're up there playing, and there's this young bass player who is buried in his iPad with the music on it. He's just reading the little like chord chart for the song. And so he's just buried in this. And so the way that it's set up, it's me, it's the drums, and then directly to the right is the bass. And then right past the bass is the piano. So like if I turn to my right, I'm looking at the bass player, and then I can see Red just like right past the bass player.
Okay.
Well, it was a misunderstanding. I thought Red was mad at me, but he wasn't. He was mad at the bass player.
Oh, but you were catching that.
He didn't. He was looking right at the bass player, so I thought he was looking at me, and then he's just sitting there, and I could see him getting more and more irritated, and then he finally just slams his hands down on the keys, and he just goes, "You're playing too fucking loud," and he gets up and he leaves, like mid-song, and it was like, I just like immediately like dropped my volume down and was like playing real quiet, because I thought he was mad at me, but he wasn't. I found out years later that he was mad at the bass player.
How'd you find that out? Do you ask him? Or the bass player was like, no, he's yelling at me, man.
No, I think I did. I think it was a conversation with Red and I, because years later I was playing with Red at like Eddie V's. And man, that if you want to talk about playing with someone that's like playing a master class.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's amazing.
He's
what about Brandon? Did you grow up watching Brandon?
Oh yeah, Brandon, JJ Johnson.
Oh yeah, it's a classic.
80 Mannion. Do you remember 80 Mannion?
No, I don't even know who that is.
So he was here in Austin. He was big in the jazz world. But then John Trainer, Mambo, was the guy that, I grew up around, because he was the drummer for Beto.
Right.
And so I grew up around that guy.
Really?
And he took me windsurfing when I was like 5.
Really?
Latched onto
That's
the front
before
of
he went into the joint? Or
no,
after he was out?
He may have been after he was out.
Yeah.
But he was an interesting guy. He was
Great guy, man.
Oh, he was a wonderful human being, just
yeah.
a very interesting dude.
Yeah.
So I remember when he passed, I have his drum set. I have one of his drum sets. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
That was my first like real drum set, because his mother gave it to me. So
wow.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. But I just remember going over there after he passed and like going into like he had a house and then like a detached garage, and the garage was just full of drum stuff. Just from all over the world, and like early electronic drum kits all the way to like weird African drums.
Yeah.
I was just amazed. I was like, this is just cool.
Do you have a collection? Hang on, I'm gonna sneeze. No, I'm not. Thank you for doing that for me.
That's what friends are for.
Keep smiling.
I kind of have a collection. I don't really have room for a collection. I already have way too much shit.
Like, what do you?
I have more guitars than I know what to do with, and I don't know why. So,
what do you have?
Pieced together Squires that I've built over the years. I have several basses. I have a John Blondell bass hanging on my wall right now.
What are his personal basses?
He found it for me years ago.
Because so after he yelled
shops.
At you.
Yeah, he pawn shops all the time, and so when I was in LA.
Maybe he was trying to say stop playing drums, start playing bass.
Kind of. But I was in LA and I had just passed I just, joined this group out there. I'd taken an audition and passed it. And met this band through like Craigslist when I was living in LA.
When did you move to LA?
2012.
For what? To make it?
Just to go out there. I wanted to make it, man. I just want to go to LA.
Where'd you live?
Woodland Hills.
Where's that?
So do you know where Topanga Canyon is?
Yeah.
Right above it.
Okay. Oh, cool.
So I slept in my car on the beach. I wasn't paying attention. I spent the night in my car in Compton one night. That was kind of dumb. But I was like, I just wake up and I'm like, I probably shouldn't be here. Just leave. But I spent more time on the beaches doing not doing shit that would actually help me in my career, but it was a fun time and it taught me everything I never want to be in my life. And I came back to Austin because I was actually making money here. I made no money, had no job for like 5 months because no one was hiring.
But there was a band out there that you got in, and
there was a band called Varna, which is still going, out there. And I joined as the bass player. And I called my dad. I said, "Hey Dad, I passed this audition. I'm playing bass in a band." And he just goes, "Wait, what? When do you play bass?" Yeah. He's like, "I've heard you dink around on it," but he's like, "I didn't know you. What kind of a band?" And so,
what was that band? Were you guys doing showcases at like the Viper Room or some shit, or trying to get a deal?
They played at the Viper Room. So I never played a live show with them. In the entire time that we played together, we just rehearsed. We would rehearse like twice a week. So we got pretty tight, but they never played live. And that wasn't my call. That was, that was the leader. But she's a phenomenal. Tiana Woods is the leader of that band, and she's a phenomenal singer. And we found out. Keep in mind, I met this band through Craigslist, basically. We found out that in the 70s, my dad had produced her dad's first EP here in Austin, and my dad still had the masters in the garage.
No shit.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So, I got to. That was really cool to go back. I went to NAMM one year, and I met up with her, and I gave her the masters to her dad because I think he passed away 2010 or something. So before I ever met them, but that was just like this small world thing. But because of that band, John had found this red Dean bass, 5-string Dean bass in a pawn shop, and was like, "Hey, Mike, you mentioned that Robin needed a 5-string bass. Here, I found this thing." And
it was a 5-string bass band.
It was like a heavy metal, like a hard rock band.
Yeah.
In the same vein of like,
Would you have to use that low B or some shit?
Yeah, they wanted that low stuff, which I hate 5 strings. I can't.
Evanescence.
Yeah, like she's huge in Evanescence. Hailstorm is another one. Yeah.
Just that song, the song.
My Immortal?
Like the girl singing and the guy going,
so Wake Me Up Inside.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's my high school years, man.
There's a great episode of The Office with where Will Ferrell becomes the manager.
Yeah.
For a few episodes, and one of them he says, "You guys want to watch me juggle?" And he doesn't have any balls. He's just like pretending to juggle, but he puts that song on.
What's the most random thing that we can put on?
Yeah. So every time I think of Evanescence, I think of that song, and then I think of Will Ferrell
just juggling air.
Hey, people should know that tonight, the day that this comes out, Tuesday, January 18th, you will be playing at the Saxon Pub.
I will.
At 10 p.m.
At 10 p.m., $5 cover.
Tell me, you played everything on the record.
Yes.
But when you play live, you cannot do this, and you're not playing solo. So what is your band?
So my band right now is a 5-piece. So it's me on rhythm guitar and vocals, lead vocals. And then I've got Scott Clark playing lead guitar.
Yeah.
I got Danny Sanchez on drums. Michael Stevens is playing bass. And my mother is playing percussion and singing with me. So...
Are you a single person?
Like, am I dating anybody?
Yeah.
No, I'm dating someone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
6
I was going to say, oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. Long distance the whole time.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Where? Where's she live?
She lives in Cleveland. But she's a huge music nut. And
she is?
Absolutely wonderful human being.
What does she do? What's her line of...
She works in retail. She's a...
Rosie, out of here. Out. She's literally turned off the thing.
Good.
Out.
Good thing I got that battery pack for you.
So, man, that's a tough... do you go up to Cleveland a lot?
Recently, I haven't been up there in a while.
Oh, yeah, because of
because of... the end of the year for me is always very... difficult to travel because I'm gigging just all the time during November and December, Christmas parties, all that stuff. So usually at the end of the year, she comes here, but because of COVID, she's had a pretty chaotic run at her stores that she works at because of COVID. So because they're short staffed on everything. So
right.
We haven't seen each other in like 3 or 4 months.
Wow.
Which sucks. I hate it.
So when you say you're really busy gigging and stuff, that's not just Robin Mordecai gigs. These are gigs where you play bass with Pauline Reese.
Yep.
And who else do you play with?
I play at Eddie V's 3 nights a week. So there I'm playing with, I've got my own trio that I sing and play drums.
What do you do there? Like what kind of stuff are you
just
doing?
all covers, like this stuff like Sitting on the Dock of the Bay and, some jazz stuff, Fly Me to the Moon, all that kind of.
That keeps your voice in shape, I bet, man.
Yes, and I love doing that stuff because it's not what I normally sing.
What are the nights you work in there?
Wednesday, Thursday, Sunday. Okay. And it's so Wednesdays, it's a girl named Chloe Yahtzee with us. Michael Stevens will always be playing bass with me.
Okay.
He's my favorite bass player. So Chloe Yahtzee's on piano and vocals on Wednesdays. Kirk Covington is on Thursdays on keys and vocals, and then Dave Scher is usually on Sundays. And so any of the days that they can't do those, my trio will take it. So
okay.
And playing with Dave I love that.
That guy's great, man.
He's so talented. It's just annoying.
He has incredible knowledge of that, of like the kind of music you're supposed to play there, right?
Oh yeah, but he comes in and he'll do his own stuff, and he like, for me, like if it's my trio, I tend to lean more into the R&B or like jazz standards, just because that's what I want to sing. I want to practice singing something that I never normally sing. Dave will come in and sing, you know, Don Henley and Petty and, you know, all that kind of stuff, but it's in a, we're not going full out the way they do. He's playing in this like just this Dave Cher way. It's just really cool.
Oh, he's pianoing it.
Yeah, it's piano and guitar, and sometimes he does it all at the same time, and it's just like, why?
That guy's just amazing.
How does your brain do that?
You know what else? He's great, Hank. Super funny.
Yeah.
I love talking to that dude.
He's hilarious.
Yeah. I've never played with him, but I love talking to him.
Great writer too.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've written 2 songs together.
He plays with Eric Johnson, man.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're the guy that Eric Johnson's like, hey, will you come play guitar with? That's pretty good, man.
Yeah.
I got that once with Ian Moore.
There
I toured with him. It's like, hey, man, I want you to play guitar.
Right? Yeah, I don't
All
think
the solos are you tonight, man.
Oh, wow.
No, that's not true.
I don't think there's a drummer who would be like, hey, Robin, come play drums with me. Like,
No.
I don't know. I've always wanted to do a double drum band. That'd be fun.
Me too. There was one point where I wanted to do a thing where it was 2 drums and just me playing like electric guitar, like no bass. For some reason, I thought that was a good idea. I never did it. I never even went into a rehearsal room with it. But I called the 2 guys I wanted. And I said, do you think this is cool? And they said, yeah. I never called them back again.
Oh, man.
What I wanted was a straight guy and a crazy guy.
Oh,
You
okay.
know Donnie Wynn?
The name's familiar.
Great drummer. He played with, what's his name? Robert Palmer.
Oh, okay.
For
Wow.
a long, long time.
Wow.
And then some, not Brooks and Dunn, but some band like that. Some country band like that. Yeah, different bands. So do you have more gigs? I mean, do you have like South by Southwest shit going on? Do you have anything?
No, I have no South by Southwest shit. And
Your record comes out that week.
Yeah, we're releasing it that week because we were crossing our fingers and hoping, you know, we'll do something that week.
Someone said it was a good idea to do that?
I did.
You did?
Yeah, I thought it'd be great. It's like if I had a South by showcase, it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a learning experience. This whole thing's a learning
I'll
experience.
tell you, just from doing this show, in this town, most people release their records that week.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's crazy.
absolutely. And so I was like, yeah, you know, we could do this, but then
Was that the idea behind the singles? Because like, this is the thing. I'm just trying to get at like a modern. Everybody has to invent how we release music now because everything's changed so much, and it's like a free for all, and everything's going by so fast that it almost seems like I get more likes, quote unquote likes, on a photo of me and my grandma than I do over a fucking song that I've slaved over,
Right.
You know, and paid money to record and master and all this kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like it seems like it doesn't matter. Then you think like, oh, if I put out a record, like a whole album, and I just release it, that's the real estate on a news feed is just one time through. That's it.
yeah, the picture that you took of Rosie and I yesterday.
Yeah.
I had people messaging me on Instagram like, that's so cute. Like, I post all this crap about all the artwork that I slave over, and I don't even get a thumbs up from that. You guys are actually typing messages to me now going like, that dog is so cute. How old is it? And I'm like, can you... Never mind.
I'm going to even put her on the cover of all my albums now.
There you go. Yeah, people will care at that point, probably. But yeah, you know, for me, with the release of this, I was like, Jeff Plankenhorn said something to me that kind of stuck with me. He was, you know, we were talking about releasing this, and he was like, yeah, man, release like 3 singles off the thing first, and just like do 1 a month, and just that way you have all this time. You're constantly like, for about a 5 to 6 month period, you're releasing things, and so you get all that time. You can have people like, oh, he's released something. Oh, he's released something new. Oh my gosh, he's released something new. Because if you just drop the EP, you got about a month and a half of time to like.
Do you even have a month and a half? I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
is like,
maybe not that anymore.
To me, I feel like you have like, it's a day.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really, I released singles last year in the summer, and I felt like, even just like the Bandcamp, like oh, wow, people are buying it. This is going to be great if it goes on for like a couple weeks. No, next day, one sale.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So I
Also,
chose
that was a fart sound with my mouth, not an actual fart on cue.
I just chose the 15th of each month because it was just easy. You know, middle of the month, you're turning something down. Or you're, middle of the month, you're releasing something. I just looked over, you were turning knobs. So I just arbitrarily chose the 15th of the month, and it just happened to work out. And when I looked at it all, I was like, oh, 15th falls during South by. I released a
You have
whole
another one
weekend.
coming out in February?
Yeah, my single Sunny is coming out.
Oh, yeah, that was a good song, too.
Thank you.
So basically, like,
That's my
almost
favorite
the
on
whole
the EP.
thing, and then...
And then the EP will be just the 5th song as well, with everything on one.
Right.
So,
Okay.
so we're just trying to, like... I'm trying to take up as much time and to get as much, to get noticed by something.
Well, it's interesting because it gets... I mean, who else did you talk to outside of Plankenhorn?
Oh, God,
Everyone.
Who have I not
You didn't talk
talked
to me. Did you talk?
We
did
talked
Yeah,
about
we
it a little bit
Yeah,
while
yeah.
we were writing. By that point, when we got together and wrote, by that point in time, I didn't want to think about releasing it. I was trying to record it.
Yeah.
And like I thought about like releasing it because I'd released the single, almost released Caroline, and then we pulled it and waited.
Right. So you released Caroline, then you pulled it, and then you and me got together.
Yeah, you, Jeff, and I got together, and
Right.
and then we ended up using the old version anyways. So.
Like John Blondell, man, you wasted my fucking time. No, I always look at that stuff as just like, the experience of working with people. I love
Yeah.
Jeff, love you. I was just getting to know you. And plus I'd gotten the message from Mitch.
Yeah.
And usually people in a high position that go like, hey, can you do this? I always say yes.
Yeah.
Just,
I
it's the
love
nature
Mitch.
of being, but plus I love him. And he wouldn't set me up with a jerk. I mean, would he?
He doesn't know me that well yet. I'm kidding. No, he's.
No, but I mean, we had
I hope
a
I'm not a
really
jerk.
good time. We ended
Yeah.
up writing another song
Yeah,
together, which we're gonna.
can't wait to record.
We should record at the new Congress House.
Yeah, Cedar Creek or Congress House
Creek.
at Cedar Creek.
Congress House at Cedar Creek. Your dad, he books now.
He books the Elephant Room, and all the Eddie V's across the country.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I think we have 25 Eddie V's.
Holy shit! Really?
Yeah, 7
And
nights.
weren't
seven
you
nights a
going to
week.
different ones and opening them?
Yeah, I opened about 5. I helped open about 6 or 7 of them.
What did that entail? Helping open them?
Some of them was like getting the piano there. I literally drove for Nashville. I drove the piano from Straight to Nashville in the back of a van.
Why don't you just buy one in Nashville? Does they have a deal with Straight?
No, it's
Yeah.
a long story as to why we didn't buy one in Nashville.
Would have been awesome
one
if
that
you
I
would have
can't-
just gone like, "Wow, that's a really good idea."
Shit, that was a really good idea. No, yeah, I can't. I can't. Yeah,
whatever.
Anyways, but yeah, so I did that, and then when we opened Nashville, I was like, I'm good. I'm not doing this again.
How long do you have to go there?
Usually, I'm there for a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Oh, that's it. That's nothing.
But I mean, you're going there every day to the building that's not fully built yet, and you're like, because I'll go in and like help wire the sound system up for the stage, just the stage. I don't mess with the rest of the building.
Right.
But then the cool part was getting to shadow my dad and watch him. Like we'd go around to different places and discover musicians to hire and play at Eddie V's.
Do you have to wear like khakis or something when you go play there? Okay, just asking.
Me?
You don't get mad at me.
No, I wear all black when I'm there.
Oh, you played last night.
Yeah.
How was it?
It was.
Any standout moments?
No, I mean we like we did play. What did she pull? She pulled. Chloe pulled out something last night that I was like, this is cool.
Who's playing tonight?
Kirk Covington.
okay.
So it'll be Kirk Covington, Michael Stevens, and myself. And that's always a hoot because Kirk is just a wild child. You just never really know what he's going to do.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's what's going on there. And yeah, he basically just does the Elephant Room and Eddie V's, but then he'll book private parties if it comes along. So, and it's the right price. Or we also do whenever a Broadway musical tours through and they need additional musicians, they'll hire those.
Okay.
So, yeah. So I grew up around all of that.
Yeah.
And I have no interest in being a booking agent. I hate booking so much.
Yeah.
It's the bane of my
Do you
existence.
book the? Oh, your dad books the Eddie B's.
Yeah, no,
So that's cool, man. What is the time of that? That seems like it would be fun to. And they're doing it now, even with COVID.
Who?
Eddie V's.
Oh yeah, we've got
you're
7 nights a week.
7 nights a week, just
Yeah.
music, just doing it, and people are going out to dinner.
It's nowhere near as packed as it used to be.
Okay.
But some nights are some nights it's some nights it's packed, and most nights it's just like about medium full.
Right.
But I actually I've been liking it a lot more because when it's super packed in there,
Yeah.
no one's paying attention. We're not getting tipped. No one cares. But when it's like medium to like not very packed at all, that's when the tips start flowing in because people can actually pay attention to us.
Wow.
So it's interesting. I don't know. But
Who else plays there on the?
you got Tony Tabuada that plays there on Mondays and Jamie Hildebolt on Tuesdays.
Who's Tony Tabuada? That's a guy I know.
He's been around for a little bit.
Is he Cuban?
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah.
Introduce me to that dude, will you?
Yeah. I'll figure out how to get his number because I've only played with him a couple of times. But
My grandparents had a friend, Tony Tabuada and Sylvia Tabuada. They were great people. Yeah, great people.
But Blue Mist plays on Fridays or Saturdays or something.
That's an unfortunate name. Any name with mist in it freaks me
They're
out.
a great
Really?
band. They're all blind, I think. I think the bass player is the only one who can see, and they're like phenomenal.
Why did you do that to me? It's not funny.
I didn't
but
think about
it's
it.
just like really quick. They're all blind. Blue Mist. I make fun of their name, and then you make me feel terrible about it.
I mean, there's a ton of bands with really bad names.
Yesterday we got into the GRP label, and Dave Weckl,
Yeah.
Frank Umbali,
All those great guys.
John Patitucci, and then Chicoria. That's the Chicoria Electric Band, right?
Yeah,
The
that's
80s version.
The 80s version, and then because we were talking about all the guys that play play at Riverbend, and Tom Breckline plays drums over there, and
Now,
he
you don't
played
do
with
that
Chicory.
regularly.
No.
You all right, man?
What?
You make it?
Oh yeah, it's
Guys,
my
this isn't
allergies.
COVID. His allergies are going crazy.
Yeah, my allergies are killing me right now. If cedar allergies were a person, I'd have no problem shooting.
It's
them.
up today.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
So.
Probably doing that thing outside didn't
Oh,
help.
this is not. Yeah, they're going
And
around
then the
blowing
blowing
everything
guys-
up. I'm like, I want to walk out of here and just like.
Do you have any plans to head out on the, even regionally, like on the road to Dallas or Houston or San Antonio?
We're working on it. We're
Yeah.
trying to figure that out, and I have.
That's a tough road to hoe. I mean, it's tough to get
Yeah.
there. Like, you know, at this point as a solo artist, you got to pay all those dudes. You got to
Yeah.
pay your mom. Is she cool? She.
No, she's the one helping me pay them. Like I've got such supportive parents on this. It's
Oh, that's
like
awesome.
You know, luckily I play just enough that I'm able. Like whenever I do a full band show, I'm able to pay my guys. But there's been a few times where we've done something, and you know, yeah, my mom stepped in and been like, no, we'll take care of this because her and I are both. We don't take any money right now because I just want to make sure these guys are paid.
Right.
And so.
And so where are you at? Like, what kind of songwriter are you? Are you like a regular songwriter, like diligent? Are you a wake
No.
up and write? Or are you a when the feeling hits you?
I'm a Billy Joel type songwriter.
What does that mean?
So Billy would go. So Billy Joel would
Billy
literally.
Joel top songwriter.
So whenever he would make an album, Billy Joel would write just enough songs for the album. He would write.
Right.
So everything that you basically hear on any of his albums,
Sure.
that's his catalog.
Sure.
And so that's the kind of that's how I kind of write. It's like, which is why I've enjoyed being in. There's a songwriting group that I'm in because it's forcing me to get out of that bad habit of only writing when I need to write.
Yeah.
I'm always writing like poems and stuff in my phone, but when to add music to it, I really only do that when I need to, which is really bad. So
That's not great.
no, it's not. But
And I mean, I'm not any better right now.
yeah,
I'm
I've
not
been so
writing.
distracted with a bunch of other stuff, but
It sucks, doesn't it?
yeah, if all I could do is just play my music and write, that'd be awesome. But I also
Do you
think
think you would write music all the time, or you'd spend half the time jerking off? Like most people.
I think I'd do. I think I'd get about a good solid 6 months, and then I'd get bored. I'd want to like go play a random gig or go do something else for a second. Because I don't like being complacent.
No.
I don't like just being like, all right, this is what I do. I have to change things up every couple of months with things, It may be something small, it may be something big, I don't know. But I just like to constantly be growing and ebbing and flowing, and the concept.
Should write that down. That was good. Constantly growing and ebbing and flowing.
It is one. Hey, there you go. Yeah, the thought of like a regular routine, like I wake up at 8, I get to my job at 9, I work from 9 to 5, I leave my job at 5, I go to the gym, like that's just terrible to me. It's awful. I don't know like how people can stand to do that, but I've got friends that do that. They have like these regimented routines, and it's like,
well, there's also like those friends, the friends of mine that I have like that are people that are like, don't want to live in a world where they don't know how they're going to pay rent this month,
right?
And shit like that.
I get it.
You know what I mean?
I think that's one thing that's been very interesting about dating my current girlfriend, because she's very much like, okay, how am I going to pay rent? How am I going to do this? Okay, I need to do this, this, and this in order to do this. And I'm the kind of person who's like, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm going to jump off this cliff.
Yeah.
I might break my legs on the fall, but we're going to just see what happens. So
what's going to happen, if you don't mind my asking, with this girlfriend? I'm curious. Does she move here, or do you move there? Or what's the...
If I have my way, she can move here.
But there's nothing yet?
I've left the... so I don't want to ever put her in a position where she could ever look at me and go, well, you kind of made me do this. You blah, blah, blah. So it's like, you move when you're ready to move. Like, I'm always going to be here. I'm in love with this girl. I'm not going anywhere. Like, you move when you're ready to move, and I'll, if you want to jump, I'll catch you. So,
you have a sister?
What?
You have a sister?
I have 3 older sisters.
Oh, no, I was just joking.
Like, older.
Oh, yeah. Like, way older
actually,
than me?
yeah, little, like, actually around your age.
Like, older.
Sorry, everybody, when people ask me, like, do you have a sister? They always, they immediately think, like, they're, like, 2-3 years older than me. I think my youngest sister is 17 years older than me.
Wow. Do you get along? Do they like your jams?
2 of them I don't really talk to. Okay. One of them, yes. She's a sweetheart.
She lives here?
No, she lives in Kansas City.
Okay.
With her husband and 3 children. I have 9 nieces and nephews.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I wouldn't talk to them either, man. It's a lot of kids you got to deal with. I'm joking.
It's a lot of presents to buy during.
Yeah.
So yeah. I had to make a cut somewhere. I'm kidding. Like.
Rock Detention is Tuesdays at 8:30 Central Time.
Yes.
That's a good show.
Usually. It's been. It's funny. When we talked yesterday, I said one thing, and then the 3 of us talked last night. And so we're going to kind of like, some things have changed with it, and good things. Okay. Just, life in general. And so what we're trying to do is get very consistent with at least twice a month, where, on a Tuesday at 8:30, we're going to have a show. But we've decided we don't really want to go forward unless we have a guest. And if we don't have a guest, then we may not do a show. That doesn't gel with consistency. Yeah, I know. Yeah. So that's where I got in with, and I was like, okay, we need to do at least every other week or something. So that way it gives us time to, like, we're not trying to get 4 guests a month. We're trying to just get 2.
Okay.
And so right now we're in the process of lining up guests.
It's tough though, because it's different than mine. Like, you got to do yours live and shit. Like, I can do a bunch and then take it. Like, yesterday was the first one I had done in like 6 weeks.
Yeah.
But I haven't stopped putting out new shows. Because I'm awesome. No, I'm just joking. That's what it sounded like to me in my head. Like, I was like, and so anyway.
And this is how you do it. And this is how you should do it. And so, yeah, we thought about doing the pre-taped and then like edit it and do this. But early on, we realized that what we want to do, like, is have a very live conversation. So, like, I love what we're doing right here. Like, this podcast, that's why I love your podcast, because you're the only taped podcast that I listen to that's like
unedited.
Yeah, it's kind of just unedited. Like, you literally just press record, and then
I put it out.
Yeah, you put it out, and the only edit you put is like at the very beginning. You just like
At the beginning and the end. Yeah. There's some
and that's
stuff.
it.
Yeah.
And so for me, I was even lazier than that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just wanted to cut the beginning
yeah.
and the end off and just post
Go.
it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're live on YouTube and Twitch and Facebook.
And people can go. Is there an audio version? 'Cause
Yeah,
I don't.
you can
I,
podcast,
Right.
The Apple Podcasts. It's on Spotify.
okay, good.
Yeah. So
Because I don't do video podcasts as much. In fact, there's people that have said to me like, "Oh man, if you did video podcasts, it'd be so much." And I'm like, man, it's going to involve another person, or not another person, but like, you know what I mean?
yeah, you just push another button.
And also the way this is set up, like you got to have one guy filming there and one guy filming here, and it's a guy.
just put a
and
GoPro
crying.
right here.
I don't want to do that. And I can't look like shit all the time. My guests have to worry about how they look when they come up. I had someone came over in their pajamas one time. Who was it? It wasn't Kelly Willis, but it was somebody like that. It was like, hey, I'm coming over in my pajamas. And I was like, all right.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's for me, I look at the podcast thing as just another part of the Rob and Mordecai brand thing. So it's like, I'm trying to think of like, okay,
Yeah.
what's something I can do? And so Zach and I are the two of my co-hosts. Zach Hennig is the other musician. TJ Bierke is just a music nut. Like he just knows everything about everything. Like it's crazy. But I think he works in IT. I've known the guy for 2 years, and I think he works in IT.
Yeah. I think he's this kind of guy.
Yeah. And so Zach and I looked at the podcast as like, this is a part of our brand. Like we should use this as like, hey, I'm a guitar player and a podcast host.
Right.
So that's where we come. That's why I think the live thing was really where that came from. We like performing live.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I feel like you're dying. This record,
feel like I'm
Portraits,
dying.
comes out, the EP, it comes out on March 15th. It was produced by David Messier, engineered and mixed by Andre Cantave, written and performed by the great Robin Mordecai himself, except for a couple of percussion things and a thing here and
the
there.
gang vocals.
And the gang vocals.
So
Tonight, if you live in Austin and you're listening to this the day that it comes out, Tuesday, January 18th, you can see Robin Mordecai and his band at Saxon Pub, legendary club here in Austin. There's even a movie about it.
yeah,
At 10 p.m. Did you see that movie?
I haven't seen it yet, but
Did you see the Beatles documentary?
Get Back?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've started the first episode and I
And?
really like it. But
Yeah.
for me, as just like, I don't know, maybe it's just who I am. I got about an hour into it and it was just like sensory overload for me. I was like, there's so much happening. There's so much history happening that my brain was like just trying to process all these little like nuances of what's just going on. And like, he's like, you literally are sitting there watching him write Get Back.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
Yeah, he acted. That's the one song throughout the whole thing. You see it go
Yeah.
from like, hey, here, I'll do this, and JoJo and Sweet Loretta. And
it was.
And the man, it takes them forever to find the California grass line. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ, man.
I haven't even gotten there yet.
My God, it takes them for like they go through so much different stuff, and you're like, it's right in front of you, dude. Like what?
Well, you could say that 70 years later.
Yeah.
Come
You've
on,
heard
man.
the song 12 million times. You're like, you know the line, dude.
Well, it's like it's like in my song, I Don't Blame You. I had it recorded, done, like mixed and everything. And my mom goes, this line doesn't make any sense to me. So the original line was, I know you wanted more than I could give. But in reference to the story, that line doesn't make any sense. Right. But rhythmically, it felt right. So I was just saying it that way. And she goes, but that doesn't make sense. It needs to be, I know I wanted more than you could give.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, fuck, she's right. Damn it. Why didn't I think of that? And so, yeah, like the last day that I was in the studio, and David and Andre didn't want me to redo it. They were like, just leave it, it's fine. And I was like, no, I need to change this. And so what you hear on the record is just, they literally give me one take of each each time I say it. They give me one take, and so it's just one thing. After this podcast, I'm just going to go home and die from cedar.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on over here. I'm a little
just
sad
popped
for you.
off.
I'm like, sorry, bro.
So
I'm like, oh, sorry, bro.
yeah, I would rather get stuffed up than have a post-nasal drip.
Yep. Stuffed up the butt. Sorry.
But not that.
Your girlfriend's going to hear this and she's like, oh, man, who is that weird guy? Why was he so fascinated about me? I find relationships fascinating because I haven't been able to keep one.
They are a fascinating thing.
Yeah.
Because, and this is the first one that I've ever been in that just feels natural. Like there's like 6 years we've never argued. We've had disagreements, but it's like we very quickly are like able to just get,
Yeah.
talk it out. Because I was, from all my previous stuff and her previous stuff, when we started this relationship, we were very just open. Like, look, this is what I want, and if it's not this, I'm walking away.
Yeah.
So it's just been very communicative.
That's great.
So
Congratulations. And also congratulations on making such a great EP. Portraits
you.
available in its entirety on March 15th. Alive, the latest single available now. Another single,
Sunny.
Sunny is coming out on...
But you can hear it tonight at the Saxon Pub. We will be playing Sunny.
Oh, yeah.
So.
All right. Well, dude, it's great talking to you.
That was
People can
always
find you at robinmordecai.com.
Yes, robinmordecai.com. If you just Google search me, I'm the only thing that comes up.
That's good.
So there's only one other Robin Mordecai in the world, and she is a yoga teacher in San Francisco.
Yeah, this guy's not a lady yoga teacher.
Nope.
He's a dude.
I can't do yoga.
He's a dude rock singer,
I have
drummer, bass player,
I have no
multi-instrumentalist.
bendy abilities.
No bendy abilities.
Nope.
Dude, great talking to you.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Walks alone in the dark on an empty street. Eye black ribs bruised.
That is Robin Mordecai. Don't forget, the gig that we talked about tonight at Saxon Pub has been canceled. But his brand new single, Alive, is out there and available. You're hearing it right now on the show. His EP Portraits drops on March 15th. You can go check out his other singles, I Don't Blame You and Caroline, along with Alive, wherever it is you stream and download your jams. Go to robinmordecai.com for all of your Robin Mordecai needs. Great talking to Robin. I love talking to that dude. He's a great guy. Check out his podcast, Rock Detention Podcast, wherever it is you listen to podcasts. It's also a video podcast. You can find it on YouTube, Rock Detention Podcast. All right? RobinMordecai.com. His EP Portraits drops March 15th, 2022. Don't forget, when you're out there checking out RobinMordecai.com, you can subscribe to this podcast wherever it is that you find podcasts, be it Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, Overcast, Stitcher, anywhere. New shows every Tuesday and every Friday. Also, we drop From the Vault episodes from here every now and then on the show. Okay, so you can hear from our over 1,100 episode vault all the way back to 2011. Jesus, 11 years ago. My God, it's getting crazy. This is the rest of Robin Mordecai's song, Alive. Enjoy it. Have a great week, whatever it is you're doing. Stay healthy. Let's get down.
Swinging to the edge of right, alone in this